All right, big cut. Hello everyone, my name is Sasa Sestic and I'm actually excited to share with you some of the coffees and more importantly to talk differences when we brew coffee with the Paragon, what we can expect, how we can use Paragon, what's the best way to set it up, and also we're gonna make the same coffee without Paragon and discuss the flavors and what we go through. First of all, I'm excited to finally be able to share the Paragon with all of you. We have a global launch starting from the 9th of February and they will be available all over the world. If you're not sure where to buy it, you can look up on Nucleus website and our distributors will be there, or just get in touch with us. So I'd love to thank you all for trusting this product and for using it, and also for massive orders that we have been having all over the world. So I'm gonna brew 2 wash coffees. Same coffee from Finca Debra, wash process, beautiful terroir coffee. And the way I'll make one without Paragon, I'll make one with Paragon. Same recipe, 18 grams in on both coffees. I will extract 270 grams out. I normally like to make a small dome right in the middle when I brew, just to make as even bloom as possible. And the way we'll pour this will be in 5 pours. So the first pour, I'm just going to pour 50 grams. After 35 seconds, another pour, 70 grams. And then 50 grams at 1 minute 05, another 50 grams at 1 minute 40, and also another 50 grams at 210. So all up, 18 grams in, 270 out. For this particular wash process coffee, I'm going to extract chill only first 2 pours, and then we're gonna remove the ice rock. With some of the natural process coffees, we would use the extract chilling rocks for maybe 2.5, 3 times. And in the past, I've actually seen my friend Michael Jason from Indonesia using Paragon with the Liberica species, and I was quite surprised when he told me that he's extract chilling 50%. I was very curious, tried it at home, and that made that coffee so much more cleaner, sweeter, and it completely removed some of the notes that we have in Liberica that we don't necessarily enjoy, such as meaty or really heavy profile. So now that we've done 2 pours, I'm going to remove extract chilling and we're going to continue pouring. Let's talk a little bit about the rocks. So rocks are made out of stainless material. It has a titanium coating, and inside of the rock we have a very special gel. Now that gel helps to freeze these rocks at a lot faster pace. So if you place the rock in your freezer, within 1 hour it will be completely frozen, which means you can use it several times at your home or in your cafe. Now we have done a lot of testing with Zurich University to see what's the optimum temperature to extract chill. And we've tested extract chilling at minus 40 degrees, minus 30, minus 20, 0 degrees and plus 10. And we found that there's no differences when we are extracting coffee somewhere between minus 40 to minus 10. And anything when we start extracting coffee in 0 or 10 or 20 degrees, we were not really getting the effect of this technology. So I recommend you place it in your normal freezer, somewhere between minus 15 degrees. You can have it on a stand before you brew for 5, 6, 7 minutes. The rock will still remain cold at your minus 10 degrees temperatures, and feel free to pour as you wish. At the end of the day, it is really up to you to see what you prefer. What we found with a lot of wash coffees is that when we extract chill entire extraction, we lose body and we lose that sweetness and we lose the depth. This is why we only concentrate on the first part. And the very first part is where we have most of the aroma volatile compounds that we can extract and get more. So we capture them in this environment. But as we all know, with some of the natural process coffees or heavier anaerobics, they have a lot of body, and sometimes that body might not be in the best balance. And by running it a little bit longer, it helps to clean up the body, to make it more creamier, more smoother, and more rounder. So it's really up to you to see what preference do you wish to have with the flavor profile, but also how coffee feels on the palate. Now, I also recommend you is when you're tasting or comparing, do not just smell the aroma and judge according to that, because aroma volatiles are, of course, they're making a big impact on flavor, but with our research, what we found, they're also making an impact on how we're perceiving the coffee. So they're making an impact on sweetness, on acidity, on the body, and especially on the aftertaste. Have a quick smell. So getting some chocolate, some Earl Grey tea, floral. In this cup, I'm getting less chocolate, the one that's extract chilled, and a bit more florals, a bit more orange. It does smell that it kind of, when I compare the smell of both and this one, seems like it's a little bit more chocolatey and even hit more smokier. Possibly some of the CO2 because coffee is fairly fresh. I'm going to pour some and then we'll have a taste. Now, while this is cooling and before I have a first sip, I'd love to mention that the distance after the extraction, so from the paper filter to the rock, it's really important to keep it very close. As an example, if we keep this rock in this level, we're going to have a hot liquid traveling through the air before it hits the rock, which means that is going to dissipate and we're going to lose some of the volatiles. But by bringing it as close as possible, we will have the opportunity to capture a lot more volatiles than what we did before. So, quick taste. So I'm finding lovely citric acidity, some florals, quite a bit of black tea in the middle of the palate, some of that bergamot towards to the end, typical geisha profile, very, very silky. Okay, so acidity is still citric, and interestingly that acidity is now a little bit more sparkling, almost like a champagne. So it's more sweeter. When it comes to profile and flavor profile, yes, we still have florals, but I can see a little bit more jasmine, more distinct jasmine, as opposed to just white flowers in this cup. I'm seeing a new flavor, stone fruits, bit of apricot, that I have not seen in this cup as well. Big difference when it comes down to texture. This is very creamy, it's very lactic. This one is silky, and it has a little bit of this oversteep tannins from tea or black tea. And on the aftertaste is where I'm finding the biggest difference. Sweet, smooth, long, as opposed to a little bit of astringency that is commonly found in some of the geisha coffees that we see. It's still very, very pleasant, very beautiful astringency, but it is there. So we find very interesting with when we are using extract chilling technique and the Paragon is that even though we are changing the aroma volatile compounds only and we're not really changing the extraction, we're finding that the entire experience of the cup tends to be different. So I'd love to encourage you not just to smell the coffees. If you want to do it blind, maybe you can mark them, mix them up or turn around, however you wish. I've decided to, not to do it today with you, but I'd encourage you to cup coffees when it's hot, get your notes, when it's warm and when it's cooled. And this, using extract chilling, usually when coffee cools down, we start seeing more sweetness, more rounder body, more round acidity, and coffee is a lot more complete. And usually with this case, like without extract chilling, if coffee has a certain element that's not as desirable, it really speaks up to us a little bit more. Why do we get these differences? So when we talk about aroma volatiles, there's about 80 to 90 aroma volatiles that we can detect in the coffees. About 30 of them are usually above threshold. So what we call is that anything that's above threshold is what we can taste, what we can smell, what we can feel. And all of the other aroma volatiles that are below threshold, we can't really taste them. And sometimes in some coffees, as I mentioned, we have one new flavor. We managed to bring one of the aromas that was below threshold and flavors like apricot, and we moved it above threshold. So suddenly we can see it. But some other flavors like jasmine, that was already there above threshold, we just see it a lot more. And it's a little bit more clear and a little bit more obvious. And because we push so many of these aromas and flavors out, coffee does not seem as empty because it's just so much more interesting. Here I can taste a little bit of chocolate, and we can taste chocolate in so many coffees throughout the world. It's a common flavor note. But here I cannot really taste the chocolate. That doesn't mean that chocolate is gone. It just means that we're tasting so many other flavors and notes that we did not have before, that this chocolate now is less obvious, making this cup a lot more interesting. So I'd love you to experiment blindly, use the different techniques that suit you to help you to get best out of the coffee. And I'm looking forward to doing another video with the natural process coffee, and we'll taste it together soon. Thank you.